Hello guys, JP Mitchell here, back today for another video. So I want to explain what autism is, and I want to talk about my story and my journey with autism into the world of normalcy. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is JP Mitchell. I'm Mitch's beauty son. I grew up in Souk here. I was born and raised here. And this is my story of how I recovered from autism and what my life would have been like had I still been in the world of autism. So my story officially begins in 2003, 2004, when I was only 4 years old around this time. And my symptoms started to come around into my life when I was about 2 to 3. This is where I stepped on one of my favorite toys, broke it, and the signs of autism were everywhere. I stopped looking at my parents. I stopped looking at other people. I stopped talking. I stopped communicating. I stopped socializing with other people. I stopped crawling. I stopped doing this. I stopped doing that. And by the time I was age 4, that's when all the symptoms of autism were there, like biting and doing this and doing that at home. And so once we got the early diagnosis for me, that's when the therapist came into the Mitchell house and got the ball rolling. There was 3 therapists. There was a speech therapist who helped me speak. There was an osteotherapist to help me walk, and there was an occupational therapist to help me with my brain with my brain development, because my brain was more asleep when I was autistic. But then as the years went on, my brain was more awake and more aware of what I was doing, what I was going to do in school, and all that stuff. So the therapy that we got was ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, which is based on changing my challenging behaviors and taking them to behaviors that are more appropriate, like saying words. The therapist taught me to speak, and Mitch taught me what to say. So while Peggy was off doing her nursing stuff at Victoria General Hospital, Mitch was the driving force behind my recovery from autism. And Mitch, I still thank you every single day for all that you've done for the Mitchell family in general, what you've done for me, your son, your kid. I thank you so much for that, for being in my corner throughout my recovery. I thank the ministry for all their help on, on getting the funding that I needed, because a lot of you parents out there are going to need funding, because if your child's not diagnosed yet, then they can't get the funding that they need to help their child to get the therapy that they need. So that's important. It's important to always have an early diagnosis to get started first. So let's continue. So my childhood with autism was just a complete nightmare of chaos. I would scream, I would cry, I would freak out. I didn't know my birthday. I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that in public. I couldn't eat out in public. I couldn't, order in restaurants. I couldn't, talk to people. I had zero language. And so this was only just the beginning. But you get what I'm saying here, is that the symptoms started, but when I met the criteria for the diagnosis, that was more down the road. So we get the therapy going, I'm speaking some words, I'm learning how to walk, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And by the time I finally met the criteria for the diagnosis in 2009, when we got the report, we did the MSCOMS project at the Queen Alexandra Children's Hospital, but they weren't a help to us at all, because when Mitch and I went to see them, they simply said, well, this is your son's future. He's probably most likely never going to speak. He's never going to be potty trained. He's never going to have a meaningful relationship. He's never going to probably never even get to high school. He's never going to have a girlfriend or two as he gets older. When he gets older, when he's 19, he's going to punch you even harder, and he'll always be crawling on his hands. So they weren't a help to us like at all in that respect. However, Sunny Hill was a help to us because they gave us the report to notify us that I was officially diagnosed as autistic. And by the time we left Sunny Hill, we got me into school finally. And this is where I went into Journey, and I started to do a little bit extra more of work, like doing some art therapy, some PE therapy, just extra stuff that I was missing and lacking and all that stuff. And by the time I finished Journey, this is where I started to speak to my EAs more. I was doing this, I was doing that. And by the time I get into high school, this is where I start speaking in full sentences and I start, talking more. I start doing this more. That's when I was no longer autistic anymore. I was completely out of that world of autism. The signs weren't there, the characteristics were not there. And by the time I was 18 years old, this is when I made a complete full recovery from autism. And then at the age of 20, my details were all cleaned up by myself. And here I am now at the age of 24, a Mitchell on a mission to heal as many kids as I can from autism. Now, I'm not saying that all children will make a full recovery. Every single child is different. But I believe that the sooner the child is treated with behavioral therapy, the better their chances. So what you parents can do is you can talk to your doctor about methyl B12 injections. And if he doesn't know what you're talking about, then he can look it up. And if he knows it, then you will know it. So yeah, so that's my story for this video, and I hope that this will inspire you parents to get the diagnosis first to get started, then get the funding from any agency, whether it be the Ministry of Children and Family Development or any other ministry that provides, the funding for your child. Then put your child on the GAPS diet, which is a diet that is proven to work for your child. So that's recommendations, so try that one out. And that's pretty much it. So for you parents out there who have children with autism, my recommendation for you guys is to get on this early, do it soon, and don't wait and hope, because nothing happens that way. Autism is not something that your child, dies young of. This is a lifelong condition, unfortunately. So recovery from autism is possible. It's not guaranteed every child can make a full recovery, but some children can fully recover from autism based on the therapy, based on, the GAPS diet, based on the treatment that they receive. But the later the treatment is begun for your child, the less effective it tends to be. So let's get this video going, guys. Let's do this. Anyway, I tell you parents out there, send me some more video views, and if you want information, if you need some information, just go onto my YouTube channel. It's John Patrick, and just see some of my other videos. And just send some video views to them and see what you think about them. Go to my Gmail account at jpmitchell@autismrecovery.com, and you can send me an email, send me some comments, whatever you want, and I will respond to your comments. I will reply to them, whatever. Just please, I insist you to do that for me, because I'm doing a really good thing here, trying to help you guys and trying to help your child emerge from this terrible disorder that we all call autism. Let's do this, guys.